myself, Ankita Tiwari, from LJ Institute of Engineering Technology, from IT ICT department. I'm going to take a session from the subject Cybercrimes and Mitigation. The subject code is 3163213. The module that we are going to cover in this session is module number 4. The module name is Operating System Security and Privacy. The topic that we are going to cover from this module is general use operating systems with a security and privacy focus. So basically we are going to talk about the different OSs, that is operating systems, that basically deals with the feature of security and privacy, which is totally focused. Okay, so basically first of all initially we will start with the word OS security. So basically the most modern information computer systems provide concurrent execution of multiple applications. Basically in one operating system there may be situation where multiple applications would be running. So when the concurrent execution of multiple applications is done in a single physical component hardware, okay, that is computing hardware, that is our OS, which may contain multiple processing units. So basically operating system is what? It's a physical computing hardware where many applications or any of the multiple applications been running at a particular time. So within such a multitasking, time sharing environment, individual application, job sharing, the same resources of the system. Now, which resources? That is CPU, memory, disk, input output devices will be done under the control of the operating system. So basically when we talk about the OS security, it comes with the feature of primary focus. So when we talk about operating system, in order to protect what? The execution of individual application, where the different jobs, that is application jobs, from possible interferences and attack of other jobs as well. Most contemporary operating systems implement some abstract property of what? Containment, such as processes, then TCP, that is task control block, then virtual memory space, then file port, and also IPC, that is IPC is inter-process communication. So basically it provides all these things at a particular time. So we need to have a knowledge about what is PCB, what is TCP, what is virtual memory space, what is file port. So basically file ports, everything we need to have a clear knowledge about it, and an operating system usually work with all these properties. Okay, so when an application is controlled, that only given resources, that is only given resources, that is files, then processes, input output, then IPC, it can access. Also when given operations, that is execution or read only, it can perform. So basically an application is controlled that only given resources, that is file processes, also where it can be accessed, and the given operation, that is execution or read only, it can be performed. So basically the operating system works with all these things in a controlled manner. So whenever we thought about our operating system, however, there is very little containment supported by most commercial operating websites, operating systems, that is MS Windows. We have various flavors of Unix as well, etc. So basically the basis access decisions only on user identity. That means where the operating system is it is used with the user identity and the ownership which the operating system has, without considering additional security relevant criteria such as operation and trustworthiness of the programs, the role of this user, and the sensitivity or the integrity of the data. So basically when we talk about this, as long as users or applications have controlled discrimination over the objects, it will not be possible to control data flows or enforce a system-wide security policy. So basically here we have talked about the operating system security. Now because of such weaknesses of the current operating system which is already there, it is rather easy to breach the security of an entire system. Once an application has been compromised, that is we can say an example by a buffer overflow attack. Okay, so some examples of potential exploits from a compromised applications are use of unprotected system resources illegitimately, okay, use of unprotected system, then subversion of application, enforced protection through the control of underneath system, Third, gain direct access to the protected system resources by misusing privileges. And fourth, furnish of bogus security decision making information. Now we'll talk about the top operating systems for privacy and security. Now the top private operating systems are Windows 10, the first one. Then we have Chrome, that is Chrome OS, then iOS. Okay, then we have Mac OS, then we have Android, and last Ubuntu. So basically these are the top operating systems that we are having it, and we are using it based on the different criteria that we need to have. Okay, so basically we'll see how all these operating systems provide privacy and security. So we'll talk about the first one, that is Windows 10. And basically most of the people are using it, Windows 10. But since its inception in the mid, that is 1980s, Windows has become the world's most used desktop operating system. Basically in most of the desktops that we use at our home, basically we are using Windows 10. So whether you grew up using 3.11, 95, 98, XP, Vista, 7, 8 or 10, you have been probably using Windows at some points in your life. And somewhere, at some point you will be using it, that is Windows 10. So Windows is a part of a family of our operating system. So one of the biggest advantage of Windows is the sheer number of programs. Programs means many types of programs available to the operating system thanks to its market reach. So basically it is having the biggest advantage that we have having a very good number of programs available to use it. So basically in Windows 10, in January, a security flaw, now we will talk about the security part. So a security flaw was discovered that was deemed to be as so destructive that the National Security Agency disclosed it to the public. It was like this much, it has created this much destructive things, like they have to disclose it to the public also. So in March also, a professor from the School of Computer Science and Statistics at Trinity College in Dublin advised that Edge, which comes packaged with Windows 10, was the worst browser for your privacy. So it was also defined. So these are the different things that has happened with the Windows 10, so that it has been increased. Its privacy and its security purpose was increased. So in April, Microsoft confirmed the existence of 7 vulnerabilities. There were different vulnerabilities which was defined, which was thankfully patched pretty quickly, that could have left users open to the variety of theft and attack. So it can, like, it would be possible, like if you have using the Windows 10, and it could be like it is possible that you can be open to the variety of thefts and the cyber criminals which are already there in order to access the system. So Windows 10, basically in July, a routine update was found to cause a serious security flaw that caused Windows Defender to not open. Not only that, it's the most secure feature anyhow. And in September, the Cybersecurity and the Infrastructure Security Agency, a division under the Homeland Security, issued an alert to the government department to immediately patch any Windows servers, as they would be vulnerable to what? To zero login vulnerability. Okay, this is also a type of vulnerability which rendered any infected system open to external control. So means this is a attack vulnerability which was identified in September by the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, and it was issued an alert to the government department so that it can be stopped. So these were the things which were already there. Now we'll talk about the Chrome OS. Now the symbolic notation, we already know it, and we are knowing it very well because we are using it. Now, and as you may have guessed, that the Chrome OS is Google's operating system for Chromebook devices. It has its own operating system. With respect to that, built in top of Gentoo Linux, Chrome OS is a lightweight operating system designed for its simplicity. So basically, when we talk about the simplicity, we talk about the Chrome OS, and we are basically using it. So it is primarily geared toward users who mostly browse the web, basically for web browsing it, edit basic documents, watch Netflix or YouTube videos, and play Android games. So basically, those who are doing all these things, like Netflix, they are using the users, then the YouTube users, basically You would have also been searching YouTube for the different study purposes also, like you want to understand anything concept or anything you want to practice, so they can you can search it in YouTube and you can get the video and you can uh, understand by yourself. So you are doing it basically mostly, and very good purpose is everybody is using Chrome OS basically, okay, and which is basically useful for Android games. Okay, after that we have iOS. Okay, the exclusive operating system. Basically, iOS is for Apple smartphones, also for tablets. iOS was considered revolutionary upon its release. Okay, it was basically defined for Apple smartphones and tablets. It was defined for that only. So when the first iPhone was announced by Steve Jobs at Mac World in 2007, the world hasn't seen anything like it before. It was not there before. It was announced by the iPhone by the Steve Jobs itself. So love it or hate it, you can't ignore the importance of it as a catalyst in kick starting the current smartphone landscape. Now, the current situation is like Android, iPhone. Okay, so we are having different technologies which we are using it, and we are comparing also. Whenever we are buying any phone, we used to compare it what we need and which system is giving us that need. So basically it is totally dependent, and we need to have a knowledge of it, so that we can basically we can bifurcate it or we can differentiate it. Okay, so with respect to that we have iOS. After that we have macOS. The symbolic notation is this. Okay, macOS was initially launched for its for its virus protection, which is already there, and security features. Okay, now, security features over what? Over the Windows. Okay, but this was later seen more as a symptom of lower adoption rates and usage of the operating system rather than stability. So basically, it was found later that it was not as good as the Windows it is. So basically, it was depending on the usage of the operating system rather than its stability. Basically, it depends on the usage. Okay, so after that, in other words, we can say that due to the fact that fewer people were using Macs, very few people were using Macs, hackers were less likely to write viruses or malware to attack Mac OS. Basically, the people, the strength will be more, will be there with the area. The hackers will be there. Uh, they will be targeting that areas only. They will not be targeting the areas where it is less people and less use of the operating system. So this is what, in other words, we can say that more people, more likely to get hacked. Okay, so Mac OS was very less vulnerable. Okay, now with respect to that, the year 2020, last year, was the first time in history that the growth in threats to Mac OS devices eclipsed those to Windows. Okay, so basically it was found that the vast majority of these threats involve tricking users into downloading and running an infective executable. You know that whenever you get a virus, it is basically in the executable exe file, and it is automatic because exe file runs automatically. So they are tricking that file only, and they are tricking that type of infected executables only. So in June 2020, a malware researcher at K7 Lab published their findings on a ransomware called ThiefQuest, okay, Evil Quest, that dismissed itself as a Google software update. Okay, so basically it has pointed out this update so that you can get out of it. And once the ThiefQuest encrypted a user's files, it would then install a keylogger, extract passwords, keylogger, you know that, extract passwords, steal credit card numbers, and search for cryptography wallet data, so that the cryptocurrency will be lost. So basically, this is the thing which was done in latest 2020 only. Okay, so the next type of operating system that we are going to learn is Android. Okay, Android has grown up from a small startup in Palo Alto in 2003 for being the world's most used mobile operating system. Basically, Android was inspired or was being used basically for the mobile operating system from 2011 to present, right now, till right now. Okay, so it has estimated that there are currently over 2.5 billion active Android devices around the world. With respect to that, like Windows, those numbers can bring with them a significant number of threats. You know that with the word increases, with the number increases, the number of threats, number of possibilities, the number of ways, but of course it will increase because the number is larger, 2.5 billion. Okay. Next is Ubuntu, the last one. The Ubuntu Linux distribution is one of the most well-known and widely used alternatives to Windows and Mac OS. Basically, it is very widely used with respect to Windows and Mac OS. So Linux is a family of mostly free open source operating system designed to be highly configurable and therefore better for security and privacy. So this is what they are called in Ubuntu also. And here with Ubuntu, we know that the latest versions of Ubuntu are great for security and privacy. Basically, it's very good for privacy and security, specifically because they are now including WireGuard technology, Z file system, file description, secure shell protocol, fast ID online, multi-factor authentication for passwordless login. So these many features it is using. Because of these features only, Ubuntu has become very popular and very good in providing security and privacy. So Ubuntu has most recently started collecting anonymous usage data, but also you can easily opt out for this feature and choose to not to send any information to Canonical. So it provides such feature. Okay, so it's very worth noting that Canonical is quite transparent with how they use any information, and they collect any publishing these findings online. So they collect it by publishing these findings by online basis. So these are the things about the Ubuntu, and this is how we have done with the different operating systems which provides security and privacy as a focused feature. Thank you.